What's up? You are now listening to Americanized, a storytelling podcast where you'll hear from eclectic first and second generation Americans share their stories and real life experiences as children of immigrants. Hey, it's Roslyn, and welcome to part 2 of the Let's Be Kids Again series. In this Facetime call, we chat about the creative work of Mariama and Nickole and dive a little bit deeper into the short film Pink Noise. Be sure to listen to the end for a special announcement. I want to get into you guys talking about your work, the work that you've done in different projects and things you've been in or things you've created, and then we'll talk specifically about Pink Noise. I guess we can stick on the topic of acting in film, so like, Mariama, things you've acted in or roles you've played. I guess that's a better question. What roles have you played? And Nickole, what films have you created?
Okay. The most recent stuff I did, or I guess stuff I did this year, or from last summer to now, I did this, I was an extra for this movie called, I don't know what it's actually going to be called because it's not out yet, but I think it's Maestro. It's the one about Leonard Bernstein, and it was really cool. I got to get directed by Bradley Cooper, which was sick, and he was in old age makeup. So even though I was an extra, I still got to see a lot of what was going on behind the scenes and see how he directs and his directing style. And it was cool because he was acting at the same time and then would pause and then direct. I was whoa, I don't know if I could do that. But I played I was just a ballet dancer for one of the performances that Leonard Bernstein conducted, I guess. And it was for Mass. I'll actually send it to you. It's pretty cool. It's I think it's about the Bible or something like that entire piece. I didn't do any dancing. They just cast me because I look like a ballet dancer, I guess. And I just had to be on the camera a little bit. So I didn't really have to do much, but I met a lot of cool people and it was a really cool experience and I got paid, so that was nice. And then, The Shop Player is another film that hasn't come out yet. It's kind of a documentary type style. It's about a man who, a real man who I got to meet, but he was a pickpocketer. And it wasn't he was doing it out of malicious intent, I guess. He described it as an itch. He just had to do it. The way he describes it is really cool. I'll send you an article that I found. I dug it up somewhere. But I worked with Sam Scheinberg. It was super cool, and I got to work with this casting director, Eleanor Hendricks, and she has cast so many cool projects that I've dreamt of being part of. And then it was cool that even on a small scale, I was able to work with her twice. And I was extra for some film, and then this one is also a film, but I was playing the younger version of the pickpocketer's wife, so it was kind of showing his love story with her from when they were younger, and I was in those scenes, and it was basically improv, which was something that I hadn't really done for a professional film set before, so that was really cool. And I had just met I met the guy that I was playing the husband version, I guess. But I met him at a chemistry read, I guess, but we didn't really read together. We just all spoke. And it was really cool, but that was cool getting to know him through the improvising, and then we had to be flirty and stuff. And I haven't really played a lot of roles like that. That's just not what I've been cast in, I guess. So it was cool getting to do that and having a lot of freedom in that respect, because I'm really used to being a vessel and just absorbing what other people give me and then adding what I naturally add on to it. But it was cool that I was he was yeah, these are lines, but just talk and hang out with him. And I was like, okay, cool. But mostly I've been, sorry, this is like really long-winded. Recently I've been not really doing much because I've been in school, and I go to NYU and I'm studying drama, and my studio is the Atlantic School of Acting, and they use the practical aesthetics technique. So it's a lot of like textual analysis, a lot of just going back to the book and like being present with the person that you're acting with and the roles that I was able to play. This year, I wasn't too happy with at first, but I guess you learn everything with what you do, and you look back on it and you're like, okay, I guess I learned something. But we did Shakespeare, and I played Isabella in what is it called? I played Isabella in Measure for Measure. And I basically had to play a nun in training, which was really different from me, very different from me. And the language was so challenging. And another Shakespeare play that I did a scene from was Richard III, and I played Duchess of York, which is his mother. That was also very challenging. But I've been on a thread of playing like older women. Isabella is probably the youngest character I've played my entire year. And I don't know, I guess that's the roles that I like attract. They just kind of happened, but it was like pissing me off, to be honest, because I've been wanting to play someone like my own age or similar to that. And I kind of was like, I don't know if I keep like falling into this type of role because it's like my vibe I'm giving off, or like a part of me was scared that it's like me falling into this like mammy trope, because like most people I go to school with are like white, and I know they don't see it like that, but like I was just so sick of like being a character that was like taking care of somebody. Or like another role that I played was Mama/Thelma in Night Mother, which is really dark fucking play. Yeah, and that one took a lot out of me. That was the first time that a role had affected me outside of that. And I really had to have like a closing like routine for that one, because I was like carrying it into life, and I was just like randomly crying at times because my body was like, as an actor, like your body trains, and if it like for a certain role, and if it's doing that every day, then your body sometimes is like, oh, if it's around this time that you'd be like sobbing, so maybe something's wrong, like start crying. And so it's just like that muscle memory. But that was kind of scary because I've read about that happening to actors, but I never thought that, I don't know, it's not that I thought it was like better than anyone else or anything, but I was just like, I don't think like it would get to me. Like, I know I'm playing, like I'm just like playing pretend, but that was the first time it really got to me, and it like scared me, and I was like, whoa, I get it now when I read articles about like actors having to like take a break after like a certain role or something, because that one was really dark. But yeah, that was a mom as well, so I didn't know if it was like a mommy type of thing that people were seeing me in, or like typically when you're like I feel like when you're a Black woman in acting school, you tend to get typecast into like the Black plays, and like people really want to see you do that like one monologue from Piano Lesson, or like that one monologue from Fences, and it's like, it's great work and it's great writing, and I would love to do that, but I feel like you're kind of only seeing me in that respect or regard. And then if it's not that, then I'm like thrown into being like everybody's mother, which is like also like a caretakery role, and I'm like, can I just like be a person? Naturally my layers that I have as my own person is going to add on to any character. I want to have more range. I don't want to be like stuck in a box. So that was frustrating. But yeah, Isabella was cool though. It was really cool playing a nun. I'm never gonna do that again. And we remixed it and made it to where she was like wearing a hijab and was Muslim. Yeah, Shakespeare was a challenge as well. Sorry, that was really long.
That's okay. That's interesting, the range, but also like the role that you kind of have been stuck in. Kind of like the dark side of acting and playing, because that's not the original reasons why you got into it or started escaping, I guess. Yeah. First of all, congrats on all these roles. That's amazing. That's so amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm proud of you for that. And that's unfortunate that you got casted. Because I was surprised when you said that. You don't give... I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, you look like a teenager for one.
I don't know. I guess maybe because I was like 2 years older than everyone. But even still, I went to school with like other transfer students and they weren't getting cast as like people's moms or like... And then people try to like say like a nice compliment. I'm like, oh, you just like give a very like regal vibe or like da da da. I'm like, no, but like if this is about playing, like okay, I can do it once, twice, but like 3-4 times, like now I'm like something's up. Like what are you guys seeing? Because I don't see that. And like you said, the whole idea of me doing this was to like a form of escapism. But I feel like I'm kind of... This semester I was kind of like shoved into a box that I couldn't get out of.
Right.
So I kind of felt a bit suffocating sometimes. And then that medium, acting, being like my form of escapism, it felt like it was kind of like taken away from me because it didn't feel like as enjoyable because of like the confines that I felt like I was being put in.
I'm wondering if like you have a choice and a voice for what roles you play, or is that more this is what you're doing and there's no way around it?
So we do have a choice. So that was the frustrating part. We had a choice, but then you have to find a partner. You have to find a partner that has a good schedule as you. And you have to find a partner that didn't do, even if you want to do something, like nobody wants to do something that they've already done before. So if you're interested in something and someone else has done it, then it's like, okay, not that. And I came into acting school, and still today I like don't have that much knowledge about plays. I feel like I have more knowledge of like movies and shows, but we can only do scenes from plays, and I don't have that much knowledge. So when I ask for counsel or when I'm researching, I don't know. I felt like a lot of the ideas that I would present were either like shot down, or there wasn't enough like lines or roles for like 3 people, and there's like 3 people in our group, so we can't do it because there's no 3-person scene or something. So there was always like some complication. But I feel like there were plays that I presented that we could have done, but it was kind of like majority rules, or I didn't want to be viewed as like difficult. So even though I had been like, this isn't something I want to do, or like I don't want to do Shakespeare again, I ended up playing his freaking mother, Richard's mom. I was like, oh, perfect. But we ended up doing it again because we were like a group of 4, and it was really hard to find a play that had like a good amount of lines for like a 4-person scene. And we asked the professor for their guidance, and they presented Richard III, and we kind of ran out of time to pick for ideas. So we had looked for ideas, but the group didn't like any of them. So it was like, okay, then I guess like I'm doing this, and like I guess I'm the only one who like doesn't want to do it again. But okay, cool. So I was just, I guess, trying to balance like having my voice heard, but also not being like difficult, or it's like, oh, every time we did with Mariama, like she like doesn't want to do this role or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, I guess I could have fought for myself more, but I was just kind of like stressed out at the time. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, for convenience reasons.
Yeah,
and you don't want to be seen as the angry black woman, so you don't want to rock the boat. Right? That's another conversation.
No, that's so loud. Nickole, hello.
So, pertaining to film, a lot of my work, I feel like a lot of the sets and productions I want to do are really big budgets, so I haven't gotten the chance to, produce or create them on a larger scale that I would like. So a lot of my work like that I've created in school has always alluded to the work I want to create in the future. So there's a thing we call video sketches, where it's kind of like a visual mood board and video form of, the project we want to create. So I think I've been doing a lot of that throughout college, making video sketches for projects I'd want to make in the future. That's like the work I've been doing in film. And then lately,
just creating like little scenes that would again allude to the work I want to make, and then helping, you know, friends with their thesis films after I graduated.
Any details about what these scenes are or what your latest project is?
Yeah, I can go into detail. Kind of like I said earlier, a lot of my work it pertains to like childhood and nostalgia, so I want to work on a piece that does take place in the early 2000s and deals with childhood trauma and like your inner child and nostalgia and healing, and, you know, also making it like visually aesthetic and my aesthetic, you know, very playful and colorful. I don't know exactly what the plot will be and who the characters will be, but I'm pulling a lot from my childhood. I'm like going really back in time. And I've been writing like lists of my memories, faces, people, like just gonna come. Yeah, I've just been really doing a lot of research. I'm definitely in the developmental researching phase of these projects.
Wow, sounds like a lot of work that goes into.
Like even like our town Norwood, it has like town reports, and I was even reading like 2004 town reports of like what the school curriculum was doing at the time, and then that brought a lot of memories back. I'm like, oh, I remember we did that in school. So yeah, I'm just really digging deep. Yeah,
you like recall like faces? Like, what is that like? Like, are you like, who was that one face I saw? Are you like, oh, this particular memory? Like, I don't even know if I'm asking the question correctly, but I thought that was so interesting.
I think one night, like early in the morning, I took my notebook and I wrote down, like the header was like 6th grade, and I just wrote down every single memory I remember from 6th grade, and like people were coming up, like every single detail. And I found some people on Facebook because I like to stalk people. Some people, like, it's so quick, you forget about people, like their face and like their name. And then I think like I'm probably somebody that people have forgotten about too, so it's really interesting. Everything's in your subconscious and it just resurfaced. That was really a crazy experience. So, wow. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yeah.
I follow a lot of old elementary school classmates, and like we haven't spoken since. Except like I hung out with one of them during the pandemic. I was like back on Staten Island, and it was like really cool. But like seeing them on Instagram, and like some of them having kids or like you know, like living their lives, but you could still see like their kid face. Yeah. I don't know. For me, I could still see them as a kid, but like we're all older, and it's like really disorienting, and it's
that's exactly what I went through. Because your last memory of somebody is like in childhood is when they were a kid, so to see them now is weird. Like so strange. Yeah, that's something I think about really honestly on a daily basis.
Let's talk about our collaboration, how we met, your project, Pink Noise, share the story, what inspired it, what's the story, and who was it for?
Ooh, okay. Okay, I'll start back in high school. I remember as I was getting into film, I wrote a list of words or like titles that I'd want to use in the future, and Pink Noise was on the list. And then this was my junior year of college now in my directing class. We had to come up with a final, and I had such a creative block that time, and I was being really unoriginal. So yeah, it took like 3 days to myself to really get like a creative idea for whatever this film would be. So I went back to my list and I chose the name Pink Noise. So I'm like, what is it going to be about? Originally, it was going to be about a young Black teenage guy who moves to a predominantly white suburb in the 1970s, and he like takes a hallucinogenic drug with his white classmates, and something bad happens. But my teacher was like, what if nobody actually dies? What if it reveals the truth about something? So that's where that's how I moved it forward. But I did tap into like my own upbringing and my own background. What I did was, I was like, okay, I like the title Pink Noise because pink noise is my favorite color, but like it has to have some type of purpose and meaning. So I actually Googled what pink noise was, and I found that it was this sonic hue that contains low frequencies, and these like really low frequencies are so much more powerful than higher frequencies. And I learned that pink noise is perceived as really flat, and it's found in nature, like rain, wind, leaves rustling. And these are like sounds that I hear in the suburbs, or that we can hear in the suburbs, especially as somebody who grew up in the suburbs. And another like really compelling quality that I learned about pink noise was that it reduces your brain waves and it could improve your sleep. So I took this, you know, then I was like, okay, pink noise and the suburbs are really synonymous with each other. And I interpreted this in a more metaphysical, spiritual meaning, you know, like, you know how people say, stay woke, don't be asleep, you know. And obviously growing up in the suburbs, I thought like a lot of the kids weren't woke, they're like asleep. And yeah, so I just thought suburbia is like really quiet, very even, very homogenous. Everybody's kind of the same, like the way they dress, the way their mentalities are. It's like pink noise, it's all like flat and even. So it was really about like this battle of awareness and consciousness, like who has it and who doesn't, and yeah, who's on a low frequency. And that's kind of where that idea, like the name pink noise, comes from. And yeah, I wanted to add upon that, like a foreigner's view on America, coming to America, because I don't know about your family, Mariama, but I know a lot of foreign families, they love to put America on a pedestal and they have their own way of seeing it. And then when they come here, it's a different reality that goes, you know, yeah.
Cool. So that was the inspiration. And
yes.
What is the story? What is pink noise? What is the story?
So Pink Noise, so it's a short film that is a fantasy / psychological thriller about this foreign exchange student named Zenobia, and she's from Ivory Coast, and she unearths the truth about her new suburb after she has a spiritual encounter with this herbal juice that she drinks. That's how the story starts. And the themes that I touch upon in the story is like the American dream, from an immigrant perspective, this idea of erasure, the supernatural, light, liberation, like this Barbie world, immigration again, and like xenophobia too, and then suburbia, obviously.
Who is this story, or who is this film for?
Who I had in mind was my family in Ivory Coast, the ones who really glorify America on a pedestal and have the grass is greener mentality. And yeah, that's the main audience that I focused on. And I also suppose it could be for people who grew up in the suburbs or Americans who do think they are superior to other cultures.
And so now I want to ask, where does Mariama come into play in this? How is she connected to pink noise?
Can I crawl my way in? Can I actually tell you the side of the story with how we met?
Yeah.
It was, I think, March of 2020. I was in my junior year of college, and this was going to be my junior thesis film. But then we've been on lockdown. They kicked everybody off campus. We had to go home. So I was like, I'm not going to attempt to make this because I want it to be a good production. So I was casting around this time of March, and I put a casting call on Backstage, I think. And yeah, Mariama saw it somewhere. I think it was Backstage. And then she messaged me on Facebook. I never was on Facebook until a year later. So then my senior year, a year later, I'm like casting again because we're back in school. Like I'm like, this is going to be my senior thesis. It's going to be, bigger. So then I just couldn't find a lead at all. It was just a mess. And I was kind of going, time. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't find anybody. So then I go on Facebook and I notice Mariama messaged me 50 weeks ago. And at first, because then I did find somebody, one of my friends agreed, but she's not an actress at all. And she said, if I'm on camera, I'm gonna laugh, so it's gonna be really hard to work with me. So I was like, and she was really busy, but I'm like, okay. So I told Mariam, I'm like, I already have a lead, I'm so sorry, but we can work on future or something like that. And then I'm like, no, she's a better option. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be here. And I was like,
I am so happy too.
and she was Ivorian too. I'm like, wow, I never had met an Ivorian ever in the East Coast. You were like the first one.
That's crazy. Y'all gotta come to New York.
We too. There's a bigger community there, so.
Yeah. I just met a girl because I joined like a Facebook group too. Me and Facebook. I don't even know. I joined this Facebook group because I've been wanting to like sing more and not be as nervous. And some girl who's also like a musician, she's like so talented, so good at guitar and singing. Mm-hmm. But she's Ivorian too, and she said she hadn't met anybody. Well, I was like,
oh, send us her info because we should meet.
I heard that we're all in like the DMV area. That's where all the Africans are.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah, that's hilarious. That's how it seems like so much more chaotic on your end. Because for mine, I like message. And then, I found it on Backstage. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? Like, this sounds mad cool. Like, I want to do this. Like, this is like the type of stuff that I like dream about doing. And the fact that like the protagonist, you like envision her as like an African girl was like, whoa, like for this type of film, like that's like never happened, like ever. So I was like, I have to take it, like whatever I have to do, I have to try. So I didn't have a Backstage subscription at the time because I have like Actors Access instead because I feel like I just like the formatting better. I feel like it's easier to get like opportunities on there. But yeah, I like went on Backstage and I was like, dope, I have to submit, but I didn't have a subscription. So then I was like stalker mode on and I looked for Nickole, could not find like any like internet footprint. Might I say that is so like awesome that you're able to do that in this day and age, have like little to no footprint. But I went on Facebook and I was like, it don't look like she used this, but this is my only home.
Oh, wow.
It was like one picture. I was like, oh man. That's funny. I like messaged her and I was like, hey, like I'm here too. Like I'm an actor. Like I go to Emerson. I would love to be part of this. And then it was so long after the 50 weeks, and then I saw it one day randomly, and I was like, oh my god. And I remember I was like texting my friends like, oh my god, you remember that project I really wanted to do? Like, she saw it. But then you said like, oh, I found somebody else. And I was like, damn. But I was like happy that we like connected. I was like, okay, like I'm content, I guess. Like we'll part ways, but we'll know of each other. And then he messaged me like a week later and was like, actually, like, do you want to do it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
Phew, that was a close one.
And I feel like it was the cosmos trying to put us together in some way. And I'm really happy it happened.
Me too. I'm so grateful. What a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Mariama, is there anything in particular you did to prepare for this role? To play the main lead?
I definitely, like, read the, what the film is about, like, the logline.
The pitch packet.
That helped so much, and, like, helped me get a sense of, like, your vibe, because you do have a very specific vibe when it comes to like filmmaking, which is so cool. I can't wait to see it like get developed and for you to get those budgets because they're gonna be freaking fire. But I searched up like pink noise and like was listening to it and then would like notice it more in my daily life. And I think I didn't really have a technique at the time, like I said earlier. Like there was no like, oh, I'm gonna like do all this technical stuff and then boom, I have it or like warm up in this particular way. But I think I was able to like draw off of like what you were telling me and based off of like my experiences and the experiences of the women in my life and the people in my life. And I think what helped me most was observance and listening and like remembrance and like pulling back from like memories of like I don't know, things that like my mom went through or like my older sister went through coming here. And like she came here when she was like 12, like didn't speak English very well, like got picked on like so much because of her accent and because of where she was from. So I was just like pulling from that or from like what I saw in school when there's like a foreign exchange student or like a kid who's more like immersed in his own culture, more than American culture and like how he's treated. And I grew up in a very white neighborhood in Ohio, so I definitely understand that suburbia, like pink noise, and just everyone doing the same things, wearing the same thing. Like, you didn't have like this stupid freaking lip balm, and like you weren't cool. Like, what? Like, it's just like the dumbest thing that make you feel so alienated and like different and like, I don't know, it's very, there's so many layers to your story, but I think life was the biggest thing that helped me. Just paying attention to what was happening in my life or what had happened.
That's amazingly, like, that's really powerful, just your lived experiences and then acting out your lived experiences, pretty much. Which makes you, like, the perfect person to play the role.
She was the perfect.
Thank you.
You killed that role. Like, so.
I'm gonna come back when you turn into a teacher. I'm gonna come back with my newfound skills.
Girl.
Yeah, I'm going
I'll be better.
Cause
that's all you.
I'll do that. I want to be a teacher. You still have your role, trust me.
No, because you know, like, have you guys seen Atlantic? Oh my god!
Let me write this down. Atlantic.
Watch it like as soon as you can. Like, I think it'll spark so much in you because it's like it has that vibe, that thriller, like ghost kind of vibe, but it's like totally in Wolof, like completely in Wolof, and it's like filmed in Senegal. And it won like the Grand Prix or something at the Cannes Film Festival. Her mom is white French and her dad is Senegalese, and he was the film director too. It's like a African like ghost love story, and it's just so like it just makes your heart feel so like heavy and like the most amazing way, and like it creates like a sense of longing, and like it made me feel so seen, like the fact that it's like no, like we're not gonna translate it or whatever or do like it in English. Like everyone at the Cannes Film Festival has to watch this in Wolof and read subtitles. Like
I love that.
And like the protagonist, like everyone in it was African, like African.
Shoot. Right.
Wow.
The way you describe that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Yo,
listen to all these feelings.
You partner, go watch that later, and put on your headphones and just watch it. Oh, the whole reason why I brought this up, Matidio Atlantics was a short film at first, because she didn't have like the proper budget or whatever it was, but like it was a short film, and it was totally different from like I watched like some of it or saw pictures from it. And it's like, I think like the short film was like Griot, like talking about the story or something around like a fire. But then she actually did the story that they're talking about, or like did the whole thing in the feature. And the same thing happened with the movie Raw, which is also a really good movie. It's pretty gory if you're not into it, but it's really good. The content, it's just like, right. It's a French movie, and it was originally a short film. And she didn't have the budget, she didn't have like all the resources, but she like made it into a short film. And then when she like somehow got there, like she made it into a feature. So yeah, these shorts that you're doing, like they're big ideas. And you know it. And they're just gonna keep like blossoming and blossoming, and they don't have to like be exact. I don't know, I feel like I feel sometimes with like art, like it has to fit a certain, if I do it one way, then I have to stick with that because I feel like I've wasted time or like whatever. But and I'm just greedy. I'm being greedy. I want to watch something, so and nobody's giving me the content I want, and you're gonna give it to me.
That's funny.
I will. But no, thank you so much for that, because I'm patiently waiting, and I appreciate your support and everything we've done. Like, honestly, thank you.
Thank you. Seriously.
That is inspiring. Pink Noise will be... Okay, you say it, because I'm going to mess this up.
Okay, so So Pink Noise is going to be, it was selected and it's going to be screening at the Roxbury International Film Festival on June 24th at 8 p.m. Yeah!
Where can we watch this? You said where?
At the Blackman Auditorium at Northeastern University. And you can watch it on YouTube, I believe, streaming online.
Okay, cool. So if you're a Boston local, head over to Blackman Auditorium, Northeastern University, June 24th, 8 p.m. Check out Pink Noise. If you are not, be on that YouTube, watch it, love it, see Mariama, Nikki's work. Yes.
Yeah.
Before we go, I ask this to everybody that's featured on the show. What are you leaving the listeners with if you were to tell them one thing? What is your message?
I'm gonna leave with courage and just bravery and courage, because what we're doing is really brave, unexpected, and it's scary. I feel like sometimes it can make me shrink, but those are the times when you should be bigger and when I should be bigger. So I'm going to practice doing that because you two inspired me today.
Oh, you inspired me.
For me, I would say, I think it kind of goes off of bravery and courage like Mariama mentioned, but really tap into your inner child, because the things Mariama and I are doing now, our inner child would be so happy, you know? Yeah, I really would be really happy, so tap into that, what you loved as a child, or even the new things you find yourself loving now. Just tap into that, play, and be one with your inner child. It's really liberating. Don't be afraid to play. Yes.
Oh, that all just makes my heart so happy and warm, and why are my eyes tearing up? I don't know.
I know.
Right? Are we all crying?
Yeah, it's healing.
Let it out.
My professor said to us one day, she's like the wisdom teacher. And she was like, no one ever changes when they grow up. Who told you guys that?
Right.
No one ever changes. You just stay the same, but the circumstances change and you get bigger.
Very cool.
True. That's so true. That reminds me of a quote I posted on my Instagram a few weeks ago. It was, adults are just children with experience.
Well, I love and I miss you guys, and you guys are such inspirations, and I'm so proud of the work you're doing and just putting yourself out there and, taking that courage, being brave, taking up that space, putting your names out there, putting your faces out there, your work out there. I'm just so hopeful and excited for both of your futures. And
thank you.
Love you too, Rosie. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for giving us space to talk. I'm very inspired by Mariama, honestly.
I'm very inspired by you too. Seriously, I feel like I haven't really been, interacting with people that much, especially not other Black women, especially not African women. So it's really nice that we're in the same age range and just have such parallels to life, where I feel like I can feel a reflection of myself in you guys and feel perceived back in the way that I want to be perceived, and you guys can see that truth, the this out, you can see the truth in each other without having to say that much and not feeling an outsider. So thank you. It always feels so good. I always feel so good after I talk to you guys.
Oh, 100%. And that's what this show is all about. You put it perfectly. We don't have to say too much, but we get it and we understand and we see each other. Welcome to the kin. That's what it's all about. Right?
Yeah.
Have a good night. Good night.
Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you liked what you heard. If you do, be sure to subscribe to Americanized on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts so you stay in the loop for when episodes drop. Also follow Americanized on Instagram, same spelling as the podcast. Thank you so much. All original music produced by Stubborn Soul. Be sure to find him on all music listening platforms at STBRNSAL.